up, guys? It's Big Al. Welcome to another dumb sports vlog. Thanks for watching. I know there's like 11 people that watch this religiously. So I was trying to think of a name for my fans. So you got like the Barstool Sports guys, they call them Stoolies. The Raiders have like the Black Hole. Every teams and organizations have like their names for their fans. I was thinking of calling my fans the Aliens, like aliens, but just like Al for Big Al. It's so stupid. But I think I'm just gonna call you guys my aliens. And there's only like 11 people that watch this religiously, but thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. And my buddy Kerwin's been commenting on my YouTube videos from Syracuse, New York. Friend Brittany shares my posts on Instagram. She's from Seattle. So just thanks for like shooting my stuff all around the internet. It's kind of cool to have that kind of support. But what I want to get into is basketball's doing really well, right? And I call this too good to be true because anytime you have something that's going significantly better than something else going on in the world right now, you kind of think, when's this going to get messed up? When's this going to get shit on? When's the NBA going to get shut down? We start thinking about, now I say it's too good to be true and it's going so well. I think just because everything's falling apart around it. You look at baseball, right? Baseball had 19 Marlins and 2 coaches test positive. A handful of Cardinals tested positive. They messed up the schedules for several teams, these positive tests. And reports are coming out that the Marlins went to a party or a bar or something. I don't know what the Cardinals did. But you look at the other leagues going on, kind of like shitting their pants right now, right? You got the NFL. How many people have opted? I don't even know how many people have opted out of the NFL. About 8 Patriots have opted out. Now, 8 people out of a 53-man roster is a significant piece of your team, especially with players like Dante Hightower, who's a great starting linebacker, Pro Bowler. You got their number 1 tight end, Matt Lacoste, who was supposed to replace Gronk in fantasy, but he freaking sucks. But that's a whole other thing. You got the NFL has got several people on each team opting out. People are testing positive. I know 2 Steelers just got placed on the list today, 2 starters. James Washington and Jalen Samuels. He's not a starter, but he's like a third down back. He plays a lot. So I think the NBA is doing really well. Hockey just started yesterday. I watched a couple highlights of some games. It looked like they were doing good. You don't really hear a lot about hockey when you're so focused on football, basketball, baseball. But compared to the NFL and the NBA, or the MLB, the NBA is doing really well. The game started on Thursday. We've had 4 games, 4 days of games. The Bucks they came out strong. They're looking good. Toronto looked really good. Toronto smacked the Lakers last night, and that was surprising because you think Toronto was only good because Kawhi. And Kawhi's gone, and they're still good. They're second place in the East to a really good Bucks team. Clippers and Lakers are obviously looking good. Lakers, they didn't get blown out, but they lost to a good Raptors team last night. And then you got TJ Warren, insert my verbal meme here, TJ Warren. Who the fuck is that guy? Have Conor McGregor looking around. Who the fuck is that guy? TJ Warren dropped 53 points for the Pacers yesterday. I mean, just coming out of nowhere. It's like the next Jeremy Lin kind of performance. This guy's just going to be a bubble all-star. He's not even going to be on a team next year. He's just going to be great for these couple weeks and then into the playoffs a little bit, however far the Pacers make it. But who the fuck is that guy? I mean, what a game. 53 points, man. Good for him. So speaking of the MLB kind of shitting the bed and dropping the ball on things, the Mets have no idea where Yoenis Cespedes is. One of their star outfielders, power hitter, he didn't show up for a game today. Just, I mean, the Antonio Brown style. I just don't feel like going today. Do they get sick days? Do they get to call off like I do? If I'm not feeling good, I just like, hey, California sick day. I get paid for today, but I'm not coming in. Do baseball players get sick days like that? I mean, he didn't even call in. He didn't no call, no show. He's like, yeah, I don't need baseball today. Probably chilling. I hope he's all right, first of all. I mean, the Mets came out with a report later that's saying they're not in fear for his safety or anything like that. But, I mean, it's just funny. You got these star players that play this game, and they just can't be bothered to go play the game that day. Antonio Brown did it, that Bengals game a couple of years ago when he was on his way out of Pittsburgh. Now you got Cespedes just not showing up. Man, speaking of Antonio Brown, they finally dropped his sentence. 8 games for Antonio Brown this year. And his next violation could result in a further suspension. Now, I have different opinions on this, obviously, as a huge Steelers fan. Good for the NFL for finally coming out with something. It made him wait around for forever. And good for him for getting a punishment for being a dickhead. This is kind of attractive. With the NFL players dropping like flies, Antonio Brown knows the Steelers system. I mean, any team at this point I think would be interested in him, because you look at an 8-game suspension with all these players opting out. You're going to have more players test positive for COVID. They're probably going to be off for 2 weeks. This is going to happen into the season. Like, they're going to go through the season. They're going to have a daily list. They're going to have a couple people test positive, maybe a week, maybe if they're really, really good about it, maybe it'll be every couple weeks or anything like that. But you got a guy that's going to come in. He's going to serve 8 games. He's probably going to practice or be around the team, know the plays, sit in meetings, stuff like that, just not play the games. That's kind of attractive for an NFL team. Now, I would want the Steelers to have him just because of the drama. And any kind of a bridge, there's no crossing that river. If it's the Golden Gate Bridge, he blew it up. He blew it up like Bane did from freaking Batman when he seals off the island, just blows up all the bridges. He burned every single bridge he had in Pittsburgh. But you got an all-pro receiver who essentially was off all of last year. He played 1 game with the Patriots, and he's going to miss the first 8 games this year. That's going to be your crunch time going into the final half of the season in a year where players are going to test positive for COVID. Players are going to get injured. All this stuff's going to happen in the first 8 weeks. You could potentially get an all-pro receiver coming, fresh legs, off the bench, and be good for you the last half of the season into the playoffs, no matter where he goes. I think he'll go somewhere. He says he retired, but any team that called and asked him for a workout, he'd probably go in a heartbeat. The guy wants to play, but who wants to put up with the drama? The Ravens are talking about bringing him in, like they want him bad, but no one's going to want to put up with that attitude. I think this 8-game suspension would serve as a good thing for an NFL team looking at a receiver. You got this guy coming in week probably 9 because of the bye week, or 9 or 10, and just finishing out the last half of the season and then going into the playoffs. Super fresh legs, all-pro receiver. I think it could be a good deal for some team. Hopefully not the wrong team. I don't want him to go to the Ravens, and then the Ravens are that much better. But I think it could be good. Now, what else we got going? All right, this one's close to me. The Pac-12 players keep talking about opting out. The Pac-12 football players, they're just like, they don't have a union. They don't have a players association to speak for them. Why weren't the universities taking care of the players? They're already on campus, by the way. All these players are already on campus working out. I watch their Instagrams. I watch all this stuff. These guys are on campus doing workouts. They took their weights out to the USC, at least took their weights out to the football field. They social distance themselves. They're cleaning the crap out of everything. Good for them. But the Pac-12 is not taking care of them. And the schools aren't taking care of these players. They should be put in a bubble situation on campus where they can do all their work online. They don't have to go anywhere. All the players get tested regularly. All this should have been happening, right? And you think about the impact of not having a college football season. College football is bigger in most places than the NFL. You think about places that don't have teams, like in the South, you got Alabama, Mississippi, even places like Tennessee. The Titans were good last year, but people love the Tennessee Volunteers. Even in Florida, you have all those professional teams that suck. People love Florida. People love Florida State. People love Miami. These games are huge, right? Even here in the Pac-12, you got huge USC fans. You got huge UCLA fans. You got Oregon fans are everywhere now, which is disgusting, by the way. That's something else completely. The Pac-12 needs to protect these players because the impact can be catastrophic, right? If they all opt out of the season, we're looking at they either push the season back to spring, which I said was going to happen. A couple times on this vlog and my blog, I said the season's going to get pushed back. Trevor Lawrence is gone. Justin Fields is gone. Jamar Chase is gone because no one's going to play a spring season and then get drafted in April. You're not going to play from January to April and then just get drafted. Those guys are studs. Those are top 5 picks in the draft. They're not. They're going to work out. They're going to stay safe. And since they're already number ones right now, nothing they do can drop them. Unless it's got to be bad, like sexual assault charges or something. But it's got to be real bad to get dropped if you didn't play, right? You think about like Nick Bosa. He was hurt a lot his senior year. He sat out the last more than half of the season, I think. But he ended up getting drafted number 2 overall, and then that puts them in a spot where he was safe. He came out. He balled his rookie year. I mean, he was 18 or 19 on the NFL Top 100, but for sure the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He just balled out last year. I mean, he skipped most of his last season at Ohio State to keep himself safe. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, those guys aren't going to touch a football field. They'll go out and they'll work out, but they're not going to go anywhere near campus. They're not going to do any of that stuff if they have a spring season. I'm talking about the draft is in April. You think I'm going to tear my ACL in January or February and get in on an NFL team and play in September? You got to be your mind. No one's going to do that. You fall so far in the draft if you tear anything your senior season. I mean, the one exception may be Sam Bradford. He absolutely destroyed his shoulder his last season in college football, and he still went number 1 overall. But no kid's going to risk that. Joe Burrow got a $23 million signing bonus just to sign his name on a piece of paper. I mean, no kid's going to go out and risk all that for a college football season where they're not getting paid, right? Because money is the important part of anything these days. But the Pac-12 can't let these players opt out. They need to drop whatever they're doing, get to these players now, and they need to make sure they're comfortable enough to play in the fall, in a month. It's August 2nd right now. Football starts next month. They need to get this going. Gosh, you scared me. What's up, guys? So I'm going to try something a little new this week. I'm going to bring my wife in, and now she doesn't know a lot about sports, so she's going to come in, and she's going to give a woman's perspective on what's going to happen with sports this year. So give it up for my wife. This is Ray. What's going to happen with sports this year?
I think all sports are going to get canceled. And congratulations, Russell and Sierra, on win.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so that was my wife, Ray. She's a character. She can congratulate Russell and Sierra on win. Anywho, the Pac-12 needs to get their shit together. Don't let these players opt out. That'd just be terrible for all of college football. Everything's already a mess. They're playing a conference-only schedule. We can't let something like that happen. That's all I got. I'm going to go for a list now. Let's do Big Al's top 5 things to do after quarantine. Now, obviously, you can just see we just had a kid. She's 7 weeks old. We can't do anything. There are 0 things you can do when you have a newborn. And even before that, there's 0 things you can do when you have a third trimester pregnant wife. So we haven't done anything since like January. I think the last thing we did, we went out to Disneyland with some friends. That was like the end of January. We actually went to San Francisco in February for my birthday. So that was the last time we actually did something. It's August 2nd right now. But Big Al's top 5 things to do after quarantine. Number 5 is going to be a pool day or game night with friends. I miss that so much. I miss having friends over, do a little games, Jackbox on the TV, play some Monopoly, something that ruins your friendship, right? Or just going over to a friend's house that has a pool, just goofing off. I miss that stuff. That stuff's pretty cool. Number 4, going to the movies. I love movies. I could go to the movies probably a couple times a week. And I eat a whole bucket of popcorn every time I go. There's just something different about movie theater popcorn. I'll eat it all to myself. I have to get it one separate from my wife because I'll just eat everything in sight. Number 3, Disneyland. So, yes, I'm a man, and I love going to Disneyland. Disneyland's it's kind of fun. It's just, everything's magical there. And plus, you can drink in California Adventure. So, you go, you get a couple drinks, you hang out, go on a couple rides. You don't go there for the rides, but there's stuff that can entertain you. You watch a couple of the shows. I mean, it's like there's magic there. It's just a nice place to be. You're in a good mood when you go. It's just something I like doing. My wife and I go all the time. Number 2, sporting events or sports bars. Now, we love going to baseball games. I can't watch baseball so much on TV anymore because it's so boring. But going to baseball games, especially San Diego, is our favorite place to go because it's right on the Gaslamp District, which means there's bars, there's breweries, there's restaurants everywhere. And then you can walk right to the stadium from there. And then the stadium's gorgeous. It's in downtown San Diego. You can look over one side and see the ocean. You can look over one side and see the city. It's just gorgeous. Easily the best stadium. So going to sports events, I'm pretty sure we're not going to go into any sporting events the rest of 2020. But I can't wait to get back at it in 2021. And number one thing to do after quarantine, travel. Now, traveling's the best. Now, we're already trying to plan a trip for Hawaii for next year. We went to Europe in, October. We saw 9 countries in Europe in October. Italy, France, England. We went to Croatia, Greece. It was awesome. We saw so much. Traveling means so much to us. We've been to the Caribbean. If you don't travel, you should. Right? A lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't travel. I'm paying off my student loans." Like, your student loans are always going to be there. I mean, you can eat ramen and slave away for 5 years to pay off your student loans, or you enjoy your youth and you travel. Right? Just pay the minimum on your student loans. Right? We got a house, we pay student loans, and we travel. Right? It's not that hard to go travel. Right? Find a way to go travel. Go see some cool shit. Right? Go see Europe. Go see the Caribbean. Go hang out. Go to an all-inclusive hotel in Mexico. Just go do cool stuff, man. Don't be tied to your student loans. The next thing you know, you're 30, you're trying to start a family. You don't have any money. You don't have any desire to go anywhere. Travel while you're young. All right, your student loans will be there when you get back. I promise, right? But travel. After this quarantine, we all need to get out, go see some cool shit, right? That's all I've got. Thanks for watching another dumb sports vlog. You got to meet my wife today. Got to talk about some cool stuff. Sports are back. Hockey's back. Football players are reporting to training camp. We're going to have an overlap of like a month or two where all 4 sports are going to be playing at the same time. And I can't wait for that. There's always going to be something on. Saturday, Sunday, prime time throughout the week. You know, it's a good time to be alive now that sports are coming back. I just wish we could go to games, but, you know, we're making it happen. All right. Thanks, guys. Love always. And remember, Iowa sucks.